Hey, what's up guys? Everything Apple Pro here. Super excited for the event tomorrow, finally happening. We should be seeing new Apple Watches, new iPads, and a few other Apple products. iPhones supposedly happening in October, and wanted to cover a few last minute leaks before the event. So first off, wanted to mention we are still doing the AirPods Pro giveaway. If you want a chance to win one of 5 at phonerebel.com. And Gen 2 cases will be happening after the launch of the upcoming iPhone 12s. I have a lot of people asking about them. They're going to be the best, the sexiest, and most durable cases on the market. First off, let's take a look at the final iPhone 12 Pro design. I think this is one of the rare few times we actually got a glimpse at the actual chassis, the housing unit of the upcoming iPhone before launch, and thank you to who sent this to me. I know a lot of people are skeptical online, but this is the real deal. So we get a look inside and on the exterior. On the exterior, you can see the LiDAR sensor, the placement was correct. It will be underneath the ultra-wide lens with a mostly intact triple lens setup from the iPhone 11 Pro series. The mic is very small, so the grating has been removed. It's been shrunk and placed to the right of the LiDAR sensor. Overall, looks pretty congruent, pretty even. I like it. The matte back is staying, the flat edges are confirmed, and the SIM card tray is now on the left side, so as predicted earlier. And taking a look on the inside, we can see that the magnet cutouts are there. So that new magnet ring, which has leaked extensively and has leaked once again, this time showing in closer detail how that'll look. And this is inside of Apple's official case. So before the interior is revealed, you can see that where the ring exists, there will be a stamping kind of letting you know that this is inside of the case. And it appears this ring will be inside of Apple's entire iPhone 12 lineup. Other than that, we can confirm that the logic board will now sit on the opposite side on the inside, and there's that smart connector looking 5G antenna on the right band. So pretty much what we were expecting from the leaks. Not a massive upgrade, camera layout mostly the same, but definitely an evolution over the 11 Pro series. Now, Ming-Chi Kuo has published a report on the iPhone 12 series and has confirmed that 120 Hz will not be happening. It will not be making its way into production. He expects that with the 2021 iPhones, Apple will implement an LTPO display, similar technology to that in the Apple Watch Series 5, which will make variable refresh rate possible and thus making a 120 Hz display far more efficient on the iPhone 13. And Prosser also confirms that 120 Hz did not make the cut for final production, so you can finally give up hope on that feature. It's not happening until next year. Also, an interesting detail in Ming-Chi Kuo's report is that on the 5.4-inch iPhone, the notch will be slightly narrower than that on the other models. Those, the 6.1 and 6.7, will keep the existing notch size. On the 5.4-inch iPhone, namely, Apple had to shrink that one in order to fit in the date and time and usual information there. This clears up so much confusion because in the CADs, this notch was slightly smaller on the smaller models, but not on the larger ones. Now we know why that is. And Ming-Chi Kuo explains that you'll be able to order this year's iPhones with and without millimeter wave capability. The iPhones without millimeter wave capability will be available to order first, and then millimeter wave. Unclear how long this duration will be between the models, but it's interesting that that's the way Apple's breaking down the iPhone 12 lineup. And Ming-Chi Kuo believes that Apple's event tomorrow is just to announce the new iPad Air and the new Apple Watch Series 6. The Series 6 will not receive a redesign. There have been several rumors about potentially slimmer bezels on the Apple Watch Series 6. That's apparently not happening. And if there were a redesign, the soonest we'd be seeing it is in the second half of 2021. And even Mark Gurman of Bloomberg believes that the iPhone 12 will not be announced in tomorrow's event. Apple will hold a separate event in October for the upcoming iPhone 12s. And a supply chain report from DigiTimes says that the only iPhones that will truly be available post-event will be the 6.1-inch Pro and non-Pro models. Unclear about the 5.4 and 6.7 availability, but those supposedly will come after. And interestingly enough, in Ming-Chi Kuo's report, he specifically states that the upcoming iPad Air 4 will have Touch ID embedded in the power button. This is in direct contradiction to the recent leaks we've seen, the schematic leaks, which said Face ID will be happening on this iPad. And he says Apple will be adopting Touch ID in more upcoming iPads in 2021, potentially signaling that this feature may come to future iPhones. On the other spectrum, Apple was just awarded a Touch ID patent for embedded Touch ID in an ultrasonic sensor on the screen. Not quite full screen, but quite a big pad placement inside of the display. I think this year has made it painfully evident that Face ID, when you're wearing masks, just doesn't cut it. You do need Touch ID, especially for that seamless experience. Interesting note on this patent is that it talks about with apps where you don't have to lift your finger even from the screen, it'll scan it, and you can seamlessly integrate with apps, save you time instead of having to place your finger directly where you need it to. And iOS 14 will be releasing in September. Mark Gurman of Bloomberg does believe that Apple will be releasing that sooner than the iPhone 12s. Those are slated to arrive with iOS 14.1 later in October. And another leak from John Prosser, he's detailing that the Apple Watch SE, the upcoming cheaper Apple Watch model, will not be a Series 3 design with newer internals. It'll be a Series 4 design, so exactly like that of the Series 5 and potentially Series 6 here, but notably missing a few features like the electrocardiogram and the always-on display. Also interestingly enough is Apple may change the naming structure for the Apple Watches. Although this is only used internally, it doesn't mean anything, but they may name the cheaper models just Apple Watch and the more expensive Series 6 the Apple Watch Pro, which would match the rest of the lineup. I mean, AirPods even have a Pro model. And props to John Prosser for this one. He has shared the final design of Apple AirTags. These will be slightly larger than a bottle cap. The front will be blank, devoid of any logos or etchings. The rear will have a metal portion with all of Apple's etchings, designed in California, made in China, and the naming there looks really clean. So I'm guessing that this metal side is how it'll mount via adhesive, and this will slip into a leather pouch. He says this is the final design. It was from a video in which you can clearly see the design, just a rendered version of it to protect the leaker. He also confirms that the U1 chip, which these AirTags will be utilizing, will be available in all of Apple's upcoming products. The recent iPad Pros didn't have one, so the next gen iPads should. And John Prosser confirms that we will not be seeing Apple's upcoming AirPods Studio over-ear headphones at this event, nor the iPhone 12. It'll just be focused on the iPad Air, the iPad 8th generation. I think this is the first time we see that one mentioned, and of course, Apple's upcoming Apple Watch. And a very interesting patent granted to Apple in light of a recent rumor in which the upcoming iPhone 12 will have a much more sealed chassis against water. And this patent details how an upcoming iPhone may one day eject water exactly like Apple does on the Apple Watch series, so using radio frequencies to eject various viscosities of water. Also, Apple's upcoming A14X chip, which will be making its way into the upcoming iPad Pro series and the Silicon MacBooks, they'll be sharing the same architecture, will be making its way into production in the fourth quarter of this year. And according to leaker Ice Universe, Apple has ordered a large number of foldable displays for research and development on upcoming iPhones, signaling that they're still working on this full steam ahead. And not stopping at foldables, Samsung is now working on transparent displays, which may make its way into a smartphone one day. Unclear how this may be useful, but it certainly will have futuristic wow factor. All right, guys, that's it. I'll see you tomorrow at Apple's event. New Apple Watches, of course, something to get excited about. Navy blue on your wrist, and eventually in October in your pocket. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the next one.